Greetings to the Gambia, greetings to Africa. Today is another fresh edition of the program, The Conversation, that normally comes away on Symbiance VIP magazine / Symbiance TV. This is a platform that is meant to interact with the masses on social, moral, economic, and political issues affecting their lives and finding some of the best way forward to remedy the situation. And for tonight's edition of The Conversation, we are in close contact with Charles EZE, citizen from the Republic of Nigeria, so to speak, who currently resides in the United Kingdom, UK, most specifically in Oxford. We speak with him directly from his residence in Oxford. Greetings, sir, Mr. Charles EZE.
Greetings to you.
How are you faring? How is life with you in that part of the world, sir?
Yeah, life is good. It's just the weather factor that we're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, that's a natural phenomenon.
We can't complain.
Not at all, not at all.
Doing good, yeah.
That's beautiful. Let me say once more, welcome to the conversation, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Quickly, the audience outside here, to those that support our work in Liberia, those that support our work in Port Louis, Mauritius, in the United States, in Sweden, Scandinavia, here in the Gambia, and all over the continent, we say you're welcome to this platform. To Eastern Africa, we say Jumbo Abariyako, like Mwalimu Julius Kambaragi Nyerere says that Komfuta Nyayo Zango, follow my footsteps. We are going to be following this statement, follow my footsteps, and see which African leaders has the right to say that statement to his citizens tonight. Mr. Charles EZE, Africa has had a leadership crisis for multiple years now. Before elections, we see politicians come with flashy, flowery expressions to persuade the voters to vote them. But once they must have assumed the position of leadership, they monopolize the entire process. You see corruption, rampant corruption, nepotism all over the place. Is it the fault of the voters in their choice-making skill? Is it that, or on the other hand, it has become habitual politicians who become so unwholesome in their lifestyle? Is it our responsibility with the voters on our choice of voters? Or is it on the side of the politician that once they assume seat of leadership, they automatically change and become the devil? What's the position, sir?
That's a very chaotic question, and I will not blame one person in this regard. I will blame the system, political system, which we are adopting in Africa at the moment. The political system that we practice is not designed for the mentality that we have as Africans at this point in time. And that is why no matter how much they try to get it right, they can never get it correct. But it is as it is now. The electorate and the elected, they are all accomplices in it. They are all together to be blamed. One is influence. Political leaders have suffered with it, but they've suffered from a lot of negative influences. Some for which some are the ones which they attracted by themselves in order to get to a certain position. And when they get there, they rather, satisfy the influences that got them there. So they forgot the fact that they were elected for a purpose. And that purpose being for the environment and for the nation and for the electorate at large.
In such regard now, what should be the responsibility of the voters, knowing fully well that once politician assumes leadership, they monopolize the entire process and consider what you call personal aggrandizement? What should we do as illiterate? What should you do? What should Nigerians, Senegalese, Gambians, Liberians, and Sierra Leoneans, all of Africa illiterates do in their respective nations when it comes to leadership? It will filter the entire process and have excellent leadership that will have a positive trickle-down effect on the masses.
Yes, it's very simple, but in its simplicity, it seems very difficult for individuals to do because it's a thing of characteristic, and they need to understand that they don't need to sell their votes. They don't need to have, because when you solicit for help in exchange for your vote, then you've accurately sold your conscience, you sold your right. So when the electorate understands that these people, we must hold them accountable if they don't do what they're supposed to do for us. Secondly, we should not be so sympathetic with our situations, because our situation, for instance, poverty, and we tend to blame it on poverty and the rest of it. It is a collective effort to make our society great and rich in potentials, which we are.
Okay.
But if we understand that any electorate that we take any money from will definitely not serve us as we deserve.
Charles EZE, Charles, is not to cut you off. I am a poor voter who has nothing to feed on. My children go to school. They've been sent out of school for school fees for almost 2 academic years. I've not been able to succeed in getting the fees to pay their charges. I am not even sure where I get cash from to have a breakfast tomorrow morning, not to mention about lunch or even dinner. And a politician comes to me with 2-3 bags of rice and let us say $200 and so for his or her vote. Do I turn that down and then vote for the right person? That does not have anything to give me at the moment. How do we reconcile that?
Yes, that has nothing to do with making sure you vote the right person in power. Like I said, it's a collective responsibility between the electorate and the elected. My child or your child hasn't got anything to eat, does not burn me into making the same mistake, because it rather gets worse than getting better. So we should learn from the fact that our children don't have basic education, they don't have basic abilities, and that's the basis why we're not looking at the future of the nation. Then we will keep electing the wrong people, and then we keep complaining for ages.
That's beautiful. That's the voice of Charles EZE in his home in Oxford, a citizen from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the so-called giant of Africa. Hashtag on the words so-called, because we're going to come there right away. Yes, EZE, thank you for that beautiful response. Rwanda was once a popular country for the wrong reason. 1994, one of the worst genocide in world history. But over the period of 25 years now, they've raising above the state of dormancy and becomes the most flourishing nation on the continent of Africa in terms of technology, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of human resource capacity right now. What formula are they using that the rest of Africa doesn't have at all?
Yes, I tag that mentality, stability in mentality, because Rwanda have succeeded in educating the public about the essence of getting involved in the nation building, and they've done their best in educating the general public that you need yourself to make the nation workable for yourself. For instance, in most part of Africa, the general public leave it up to the government to want to pick a certain debt on the floor. Now, Rwanda is one of those countries that when you go now, now you can't find the dirt on the floor, like the used nylon bags and the rest of them. It's upon every individual in Rwanda. When you spot a certain thing that is not supposed to be on the floor, you pick it up yourself. This is mental sanity. This is they didn't just fall. They didn't just come to that realization. It has to be inculcated in them. The general public took it upon themselves that okay, now this is our nation. It's upon our shoulders to make it great. So, and the government has done well on their own part to set the trend, because when the head is rotten, obviously it will affect the tail. And so the political players in Gambia, rather in Rwanda, have got to a certain stage where they've set the record straight. So players in Gambia, rather in Rwanda, have got to a certain stage where they've set the record straight. So there's no option left for the public to, imbibe in that culture and carry on with that. So they've set the record straight, and it's a thing for other Africans to omit from them, and then things will begin to work better for them.
Thank you. I come back here again. This continent has had common heroes. The Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania, the likes of your own Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We come to my own William Vakanara Shabda Tunnel of Liberia. The Gambia had Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, may his soul rest in perfect peace. The Tamant Sankara of Burkina Faso, the Amilcar Cabral of Guinea-Bissau, the Nelson Mandela of South Africa, the Osagyefo for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, the Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, and multiple others, heroes and heroines that fought for the liberation and unity of this continent. Regrettably, too many years after these people, some of them have left, may their souls rest in peace. Our continent, most of them, if not every one of them, have all left. Our continent still remains divided. You come to the Gambia, there is rampant tribalism. You go to Nigeria, between the Igbos, the Hausa, and the Yoruba, the huge tribalism. Go to Nairobi, Kenya, they in fact carry casket on their heads and say they want to bury a tribalism. Go to Cameroon, where Paul Biya is. English-speaking Cameroonians and French-speaking Cameroon is terrible. My own Liberia, the American Liberians and the indigenous Liberians, that conflict of interest has been here since 1821. And the list goes on and on and on. Where did we get it wrong?
That's a very important question. The problem lies upon religion. Religion has eaten the African continent so badly. You can no continent that want to survive that will put religion in the forefront. Religion has to be on the ground, okay? Because religion will hamper the progress of a nation. So we have imbibed with the culture of religion rather than, nation building or getting involved or seeing ourselves as one people put on in a continent to survive for ourselves. So this started from time immemorial. It started from the people who, aided and abetted this religious anarchy is our parents. For instance, let me use my country as an example. A northerner will never see an easterner as the brother. The westerner will never see the northerner as a brother. But because they have no choice but to answer one country in one continent. That is why we see the interact and the
interface.
Do whatever
yes.
they need to do. So the religion has to, for us to set this record straight, we need to first of all remove religion from our fellowship with our brothers. We need to know that religion is a personal thing, but nation building is a collective effort. If you come to this country, for instance, most of the religious houses that we have, the one that was there over 500 years ago, they don't serve only as churches or whatnot you can talk about in religion. They serve as offices and they equally serve as religious houses. For instance, we have most of the universities that you hear in Oxford. Some of them are equally served as churches. All right? But then the church activities that run there cannot come and want to be held more important than every other offices that run inside the same establishment. So you can't even come out in the street and want to be hypocritical over your own religion. So we hold it as a culture to go to work and make sure we pay our taxes and make sure that we're of a good character. We don't use abusive words. We don't use segregatory words. We don't, things like that. This is what a nation that wants to survive must endeavor to do.
Okay.
For instance, if this country had, used religion as the flag bearer of the nation itself, then I think we should be singing the same song that Africa sings now. Okay. So the mentality has to change. The mentality has to change. That's why I said the political system that we have in Africa is not designed for Africans. So no matter how we try, we will not get it right, except that we begin to sanitize our mental state, such as Rwanda has achieved at the moment. You see that? So otherwise, we will still be recycling within the same thing, and we will still be blaming the system. The system at the moment is not our system. But if we find ourselves in that system, we should make it at least 40 to 45% workable for ours. Therefore, we must examine how we see ourselves in the same, because it looks like we cannot, for instance, we can't even embrace ourselves. We can't even, when you see a child, you want to segregate between that child and your child. You begin to see a woman or somebody begin to molest another person's child because it's not his child. So this mentality is a problem that is eating up the polity in Africa.
Thank you. That's the voice of Charles EZE. If you just starting to view us right now, this is Sembiance VIP magazine in the Republic of the Gambia. This is a platform, the conversation that comes away on this magazine at this time. And I remain Tony Miket Howard, your host. Should I say a presenter? We in close conversation with Charles EZE, who resides in Oxford, United Kingdom. Quickly, few days back, if not at least a week, I listened to the president of Tanzania, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. He was having a meeting with his party leadership, and they were appealing to him to contest the presidency in Tanzania beyond the constitutional mandate of 2 terms, because he is done exceeding the well, or he is doing exceeding the well in his nation. They feel that, the party feels that he still has enough to offer his country. And he says that I will not go beyond the margin as stipulated within the constitution. That's 2 terms. Each term is 5 years. That is provided that I win the next election that takes me to 2025. Beyond that, my party is an industry that produces intelligentsia who have the requisite charisma to be able to do better for the people of Tanzania, far better than I do. I'm going to step down. I'm not going to go beyond the constitutional mandate of 2 terms. Does his words sound beautiful in the eyes of other African politicians? To what extent does this reflect on a continental level, sir?
Yes, I commend his attitude and I commend his reputation. We've had in the past political leaders of exceptional attitudes. One we had was Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria, who took that path of peace. Yeah, I mean, he's done perfectly well. This is what we expect in order to, to preserve your dignity and respect. And it has gone a long way to set the record. He has set the precedence to other leaders in Africa. I mean, 4 years or 5 years of leadership is enough for every president to acquire whatever he or she wants to. So if you go in, if you are abusing the Constitution, you are actually setting a bad record. So if you can't come and want to persecute Mr. A or Mr. B while Mr. A had set that record. So what he did in his own part was, try to set a record. So he has a moral right now to stand up and to want to condemn in strong terms any leader that abuses the Constitution. So this is a lesson to other African leaders. It is not a do-or-die affair. It is not a do-or-die, and Constitution is it remains sacrosanct in every nation. So for that nation to survive, you must, being you a political office holder or the masses at large, you must, respect the Constitution. We must not stay and point hands or point fingers to our leaders, while we on our own self, we still don't even do our quota to respect the Constitution. So he has done well. Tanzania has also shown tremendous effort in this quest of African survival. We will always make reference to what he has done. We will always quote him anytime, and he will always have our utmost respect.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes, their first president, the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, he gave one of the shortest speeches, even close to his deathbed, and he still spoke to Tanzanian people, Jombo, Barigam, Gzuri, Abariyako. And he says, Kumfuta nyayo zangu, that is, good day to you all. Follow my footsteps. He had the guts, he had the nerves to say, follow my footsteps, because he knew very well that the footsteps were beautiful. Footsteps in terms of economic growth, footsteps in terms of unison, preaching unison not only for Tanzanians but all of Africa. Footsteps in terms of human rights, respect and pride. Footsteps in believing in the people of Tanzania. Let us look at the George Weah of Liberia, the Adama Barrow of the Gambia, the Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, Farai Diman of Togo, Paul Biya of Cameroon, and including all the African leaders. Which of these leaders do you think currently has the right to say to their citizen, Kumfuta nyayo zangu, follow my footsteps? Do we have any?
To be honest with you,
are you laughing with me or at me or with African leaders or at African leaders or African leadership?
The question is somewhat at the the moment, it sounds to me very funny because when I look beyond and above, I can't find it presently at the moment. It's very unfortunate that people tend to value position of power more than human dignity. It is inevitable that donkey years will definitely come and pass. We are in we are 2,000 years has gone. So if any leader thinks he will clinch to power forever, I advise the sound mind not to go and die for that sake. I advise everybody to play the part of peace. Unfortunately, I wouldn't tell exactly what they found in power that they want to die in it. A lot of leaders that through that path has gone to jail. Either they've been persecuted by international community or they've been extradited for whatever one crime or the other. Still, it's not setting them enough warning to disease from abuse of power and abuse of constitution. I do not see at the moment, except one succumbs to a pressure. For instance, the former president of the Gambia.
Jame. The strong man.
Yeah, if not the fact that there were pressures coming from here and there, he wouldn't have succumbed to it. So that's what they've chosen. They've chosen to have it the hard way.
Are you saying, in essence, currently, amongst the 54 nations, we do not have a president that is worthy enough to quote the same statement from Mwalimu Julius Kambarage several years ago, like follow my footsteps?
Okay, I would give that to, at the moment, he's still on now. I will give it to Nana Akufo-Addo, the president of Ghana. I see him as somebody who will go that path.
Will go that path. I am not sure. Are you sure or confident enough that Ghanaians are going to dance to this music you're singing now, that Nana Akufo-Addo should be the one to re-quote Mwalimu Julius Kambarage statement? Because corruption is there right now.
Yes, in Africa we have three cardinal countries that are very, very important in record setting. One is Nigeria. Another one. Let me narrow it down to West Africa. One is Nigeria. One is Ghana, and another one will be Senegal. I've listened to a conversation that Nana Akufo had with the French.
You see the French president, Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah. Yes. He's made it clear that Africans should look within themselves in order to have a workable society. And he's made it clear that the abuse of power has done us more harm than good. So I expect him to go that path.
Okay.
Because he has more creative and more explicit words, to qualify or quantify his activities in office.
Most Ghanaians have said that Akufo-Addo leadership has been more or less theoretical. He gave very beautiful speeches, one of the best speakers on the continent right now, more or less an orator or what have you. But not to dwell on that right now. Quickly, before we take leave of you, the Gambia, the nation that you once stayed for a very beautiful period of time, you've made powerful friends and you understand the cultural dynamics, the political dynamics. The nation now heads to what I call the political Bermuda Triangle. This is a question I posed to almost all of my interviewees. There was a coalition team that brought Adam Barrow to power. And one of the clauses that bind that coalition team was that any man or woman that assumes the seat of the presidency serves transitional leadership for 3 years, after which he or she steps down and conducts an elections without participating in the elections and for subsequent leadership. Now, Adam Barrow took office and he became the president. And Jammeh left this country unceremoniously. The 3 years mandate is now. He says that he has to be under the blessing of the Constitution as 5 years. The masses are agitating that he respects his words and what I call political morality. Some of the coalition members are agitating that he respects his words. And he says he has to respect the Constitution that says 5 years. So where do you stand?
Yes, one thing I'm happy about is finally Gambia has resolved to democratic dispensation. Under democratic dispensation, anybody can envisage or want to do whatever to him seems right, to him or her is right. Yeah, and we have only one platform to argue our cases.
The ballot box.
The part of the part of honesty is a personal thing. Yeah, that is why I rather advise that everybody be diligent and be honest to your word and also to whatever you are signatory to. And then, if that honesty is being thrown to the beams, what I will advise also is let them constitute a legal body to either go for an impeachment or go for whatever under constitution to to repair or to want to set the record straight.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say outrightly that I wouldn't want to say that they should do everything within their power to want to remove him or go to the resort to anarchy or killing of anybody. Okay, so it's a very, very sensitive situation at the moment in the Gambia. So my advice to every one of them is, yes, he might have abused his own constitutional responsibility, but then if you look at it in the larger picture, it will only result to bloodshed. So to avoid bloodshed, 2 years is just around the corner.
Yeah,
it's just around the corner. If you have waited for all that years that you waited for Yaya Jammeh, and then for I think for 20, almost 28 years, isn't it?
In essence, if I should cleverly get to you, mean patience, right? Till the 2 years expire.
Yeah, that's
in
what
the
they should do.
in the Igbo language, they say Didi Amaka, patience is good.
Yes.
In the Wolof says Amunya defa bad sin it.
Yes. So if you want it by all means, okay, go to court and challenge his decisions. That's all we can do, because he's not unimpeachable.
Okay.
Okay, so if you vote, if the members of the parliament passes a vote of no confidence, it's just going to go down. So if that one is not obtainable, then let us exercise, or let the Gambians exercise patience for the next 2 years.
Let the Gambian people,
the whole thing will with the scope. Yeah.
Let the Gambian people exercise patience for the next 2 years so that they go back to the ballot box, and if they are not satisfied with the leadership, they can be able to change that at the ballot box. Patience is the best way forward. Peace is the best way forward. Not antagonizing one another, not trying to protest in the street and jeopardize your peace that you've always fought for. That is the voice.
Let me say this one. Let me say this.
Yes.
The Gambians should understand that the tourism industry in the Gambia is one of the strong means of the survival of that country. The tourism industry must not be jeopardized with. Remember, a country that is unstabilized,
it's a standing
will not have the tourists in that country.
Nobody's going to come there.
So this is a season of the tourism in the Gambia. So they have to be very, very careful with the way they approach political matters. Okay, because Gambia have succeeded in selling itself to the international communities. Imagine a person like me, Nigeria is my country, but if I have not stepped my foot in the Gambia, I feel I'm missing a lot. Okay, so there are people like that. I know from my years in the Gambia,
yes,
I know certain families, English families, that will never spend a year outside without setting their foot in the Gambia. So they have to be very careful the way they approach.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Charles. Is it that's all we've got time for? I'm afraid we're still going to have you one more time on this platform some other time in the new year. If you just viewing us right now, this is Sembiance VIP magazine, your favorite in the Republic of the Gambia. It has been a smooth conversation with Charles EZE, who resides in Oxford, United Kingdom. We've spoken about Africa, we've spoken about the Gambia. Most importantly, we couldn't find an African leader who has the right to recode Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania, like Jumbo Abariyako, Komfuta Nyayo Zango. That is greetings for my footsteps, my citizen, which means it is sad for our leadership. Leaders in Africa, do your level best to make sure that your impact, your leadership has a positive trickle-down effect on their masses. Unto them, bow your head in shame as leaders, because you haven't done enough to be credible enough to deserve that praise from your own people. If you like, follow us. Bye-bye.